Welcome to Soulmaster Codes podcast. I am Christina, a spiritual guide supporting people in reconnecting with their true, authentic self and activating their true potential in relationships, career, self growth, and abundance. In this podcast, we explore what it means to walk in your own authentic path and how to navigate identity shifts and life transitions with trust and clarity. Each story shared here is a reminder that every step, every choice, and every challenge is always serving the highest good, even if we sometimes only recognize that when looking back to our journey. If you find yourself in between becoming or feeling the call to step into the next level of who you are in the right place. My intention for you is to receive your confirmation, your sign, or your clarity. Allow this space to hold you and gently lead you forward with confidence. We invite you not just listen the words, but feel them and let this vibration activate the highest frequency for you. Today, I'm so excited to introduce Brigitte Donovan. She's one of the brightest souls I have met here in my new life in the United States. I didn't see her coming into my life, but yet it was so beautifully guided and aligned. I had to put out one of my Instagram ads. She reached out to me and invited me to Creative Collective, a creative workspace, community hub, and incubator for female entrepreneurs. We met, we talked, and connected, which flowed into collaborations, and I just knew that she has her own story to share. So, Brigitte, before we go anywhere else, thank you for being here. How are you feeling today?
Thank you, Christina, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be part of these stories that you're sharing. I'm feeling really good. Luckily, being in your presence and getting to do even just some of the exercises that you do to help people kind of ground and reconnect with themselves, I'm feeling amazing.
I'm so glad,
Yeah.
so glad. So we have created this entry field for you to share your story, share yourself. First, I would like you to introduce yourself in your own words. How are you currently experiencing yourself in this chapter that you are right now?
So I'm Brigitte. I am a co-founder of a creative hub and workspace here in Austin. So it's called Creative Collective. I founded it with one other business partner. Her name's Toria, and we've just been able to build it in this amazing space. I'm excited to share about the space and kind of the history of that too. It's a beautiful history of women having a vision and making it happen, and then kind of passing the torch so that more and more women could kind of bring their ideas to life. So right now, that's really where a lot of my focus and all of my past careers and past areas of focus, they all now are kind of tying into now being a co-owner and founder of Creative Collective.
That's amazing. But who were you before Creative Collective? And how you see your own journey becoming this kind of also transition of new identity to hold this space that you are right now?
That's such a good question. Who, because there have been many versions, many chapters. I actually started off in architecture because I always wanted to create community space. So I thought that meant that I truly had to be a designer and learn how to build and design the actual structures that I wanted to create for the world. So I was going to school for architecture and urban and regional planning. And I ended up switching to business. So that's a whole nother story. But business really led me to over 10 years of working in tech and in innovation and being a product manager and going into product and UX. And so really still looking at, how do you create something that other people need? How do you build solutions for the problems out there? And how do you create something that maybe doesn't exist yet, but you have an idea for what could be? and being in that ambiguous space of, well, no one has done this yet, but we have a feeling we could. So how do we incrementally build and test to see if we're building the right thing? That's I believe that it, even though I never set out to be a product manager, I never set out to work in tech. It never called me. Like even as a little girl, like I was much more called to service and spirituality and helping and community. And I really thought I'm going to live a life of purpose. Like I was just obsessed with finding my purpose and doing something helpful in the world. And so it was actually kind of random that I ended up getting into business and then working in tech
Yeah.
for so long. There was definitely some friction there. There was always that innovator, the person kind of building and figuring out visions and then bringing those visions to life and working across teams to make it happen. That became a huge part of my identity, and I got really almost like so passionate about learning different processes that exist to innovate better because it's a really interesting space. So that became a huge part of my identity, but there was always some friction of this other pool that was interested in wellness and living a more spiritual path and feeling like we really are finding a meaningful kind of way of living for each individual and wanting to find my own kind of meaningful path. And so I always felt that pull. And the other thing I think, working in tech, you see a lot in terms of kind of future predicting, like seeing where, we have big data, we have all these analytics now, we have behavioral analytics where you see so much information about people from a user perspective. And so there's always the idea of like, well, where is this all going? Like, what is the impact of what we're building really going to have? And so being in technology, I got more and more concerned about that as well. And that's really what pushed me to want to work with women to help them bring their own ideas to life, not just big tech apps and software solutions and technology, but like actually just anything that was close to their heart that maybe would make the world a better place, even out on a small scale. And then also focusing more on like real life connections and real life experiences that were much more focused on the human experience and on our day-to-day lives and less on the technology that maybe is a tool to help us, but not the end answer.
Yeah, two things here came up or really highlighted from your answer also, like this, how this was like a preparation for you, and how do you see how this prepared you to lead you forward working with people and their purposes?
I think it helped. There were a couple of things that will always be grateful for that I got to learn in that space and
Yeah.
get to kind of strengthen the muscles around. And one was learning how to look at the resources you have and figure out how to make what you want out of those resources. So it can be around like collaborating across different teams and different expertises and seeing how you can bring that together to make something where one person alone, there's no way they're going to do it. They would be able to do it. But when you start to bring more and more different minds and areas of expertise together, all of a sudden something is absolutely possible.
Yes.
Seeing that in real time was definitely a game changer for me. I definitely see the world, I think, through that lens now of like, how can we come together and bring the right people together to create what we want? The other thing is having like being comfortable with really big visions, being comfortable with something that seems so daunting and
Can be
so
scary.
really scary. And I think having the tools to be able to say without fear, like, okay, big picture, blue sky scenario, this is what we're envisioning. This is what we would love to see. And then seeing how to like kind of break that down into pieces and initiatives to be like, okay, what do we need to build first to incrementally get there? And being comfortable with not knowing how exactly it's going to happen and being able to identify, well, what do we need first to start? Like the term MVP from product, the minimum viable product is like, what are just those core features we can build and put out in the world to see are we on the right track? Or it doesn't have to be everything. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. It can be just a small snippet of what we want to do, but it's getting us started and it's sharing something with the world. It's already creating value, even in a small way, and it can continue to build and we can continue to learn. And really being open to learning, open to what you build is may not always be exactly what people need or may not always have the impact you were hoping. So being open to the new data, new insights when you do put that idea out into the world in order to be able to keep making it better and keep learning and growing yourself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You said so amazing things that people can hear this, that you need some kind of foundation of who you are and vision, but you don't have to know how exactly are you doing this. And another thing that is coming up is, yes, you can go by yourself so far, but if you want to rise up, then go together with others, right?
Yeah.
And also this technology part is interesting here, because now we have, you know, AI, ChatGPT. How do you see that? Because in how I see, or in the spiritual perspective, it's also part of us. We have created this to help us, but how to keep this balance? How do you see that if you have been in this environment, and how to keep your soul alive and same time use what is available?
That's well, that is the question of the century, essentially. Um,
What do you feel?
I agree with you in that in a lot of ways it feels like AI, especially if you're using AI tools like chat, where you're kind of going back and forth and you're inputting your own questions and your own goals and what you want to work on, and then getting AI's response that's pulled from millions of other data points also gathered and created by humans. That it's still gathering like what we as a society have already created. So whether it's an image that it's creating, it's pulling from images that came from the human mind and human creativity. And now it's just taking it on a whole nother level. So to me, I think, of course, I think all of the concerns that people are bringing up right now are really valid. I think we should all, I mean, my initial motto was use technology and don't let it use you. And one of the main ways, and I still carry that with me in all tech and then into AI as we're seeing it emerge more and more in our day-to-day lives. So I think being able to build awareness, build true connection with yourself, true connection with whether it's God or the universe, however you kind of see that like higher divine consciousness and divinity, like never forgetting that divinity in terms of like why we're here and who we are and what it means to be human. That connection, I think, is so critical. And I think understanding, the more we understand how we're built as humans, the more we can make sure we're protecting those systems. So understanding how our mind works, understanding how our mind can very easily be manipulated. And so the more we are able to be aware and connected and watch our thoughts and watch how our behavior is changing, the more we're aware of that, the less susceptible we are to some of those ramifications that can come with, like, it can impact your mental health, it can impact the way you see the world, it can impact the way you see others, so it can impact your connection with others. So that's one thing we're hearing with AI, is that just like most tech platforms, our focus and our attention is their main commodity. So they're designed to continue to keep our attention. So we have to be super careful of that. And with AI, it wants to keep our attention, and have us keep returning to it and be connected to it and dependent on it for information. So I think having trust in yourself to discern accurate information and to do our own research, and all, even though it's a super powerful tool and helpful tool, but continue to keep that. And then also continuing to look to others for support and love and connection.
Real life.
That's what's real. Yeah. And it is designed to try to take that place because it's in its best interest, because it keeps our attention longer, if we really are dependent on it and building that connection with it. But I think that's a
Yeah.
huge thing to be aware of.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to keep the focus on yourself and real life, and not let yourself to kind of fly away, because you start to feel, I think, in your body some kind of symptoms when you are starting to really attach onto ChatGPT or something. And for example, some maybe social media platforms are also like getting you more hooked.
Hmm.
And when you want to create something, then I think it's important to kind of block out what others are doing sometimes, and to start creating. But sometimes you have already kind of lost your own way. How are you coming back to yourself? Do you have your own techniques? Because all the time, as you said, like there's some, systems or some platforms that are keeping us focused on the outside.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That reminds me, I heard something recently. Someone said that the one of the trends of 2026 is going to be disconnect to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And in that context, they were saying they were actually talking about dating, how dating is trending more towards like IRL and in-person meetups and making in-person connections and going to events much more and kind of getting off the dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that trend is kind of, we'll see it also in a lot of other places where people are just choosing in-person connection over online platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that idea, like you said, like, so how do we reconnect?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, the first step is to disconnect. Like the first step is to put down my phone, and it is to step away and be really aware of, because when I stepped in that creative collective, I started to realize I was on my phone almost 24/7 of so many channels of like working so closely and collaborating with my business partner, which I absolutely loved. So I didn't want to impede on that. So it's like, let's go, like 24/7 available. And then of course you start to have more and more people interested in getting involved in the space and the membership and everything. So we were just constantly had a message to respond to. So I really have had in the last couple of months, it's been a huge initiative of mine to see, okay, how do I still be very available for this position that I love and for this business I care so much about, but also be really, really cognizant of how often I'm on my phone and
Yeah.
find that balance. So finding that balance and just taking time to disconnect from my phone has been huge for my own mental health. And then the next step, to your point of like, then how do you reconnect? What are those things that you do? And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's been threefold, especially making sure I start it in the morning. So first thing in the morning without, and the only time I go off of this is if for whatever reason, wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't journal first thing, but even if I don't, my goal is to journal first thing in the morning before I do anything else. And if I don't, I make sure I take time to sit down and do it at some point during the day. So I don't think I've had very many days where I have not done that since setting the intention. So the first step is connecting with God and taking the time to journal, kind of listing out what's on my mind, kind of clearing my mind, setting the intention to connect, kind of bringing what's on my heart, but then setting time and like kind of just like clearing my mind and trying to just be more receptive and listening and open and seeing what I hear. What
Mm-hmm.
messages do I get? What guidance do I get for the day? And so I start
Yeah.
every day with whether I hear a lot, whether I write a lot, each morning, I've set the intention to connect with God. I've set
Mm-hmm.
the intention to say, hey,
Always.
I'm here, I'm present. If there's anything
Yeah.
you want me to know for today, like where will you? I think Oprah used to every day on her show, she would say, God, what will you have me do? Who will you have me be? What will you have me say? Or something along those lines of
Yes.
like really being a channel and a vessel like for good work,
Mm-hmm.
for good intentions. And so like setting that intention. So I try to do that every day. I try to do it outside. So I set out
Mm-hmm.
on my patio outside so I can see the sky, I can see the sun coming up, I can see the sun hitting the trees and the leaves, I can hear the birds chirping, going from tree to tree. That's huge. Being time outside. And then being outside, connecting with God, it really is a really good path to the next thing, which is being just present in the real world, not being online, hearing all of the different opinions, all the different ideas, some great opinions. Oftentimes, I love my algorithm. It's full of great podcasts and great
Yes.
ideas and inspiring people. It's very positive, but it's a lot of noise, and it's not always, it's still different than what just stepping outside and
Yes.
like going down the sidewalk and saying hi to your neighbor or waving to the people going by you or going and getting coffee and saying hi to the barista. Like that also is the real world. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think having those like real life connections. So my intention, connect with God, connect with nature, and connect with other people. Like
Yeah.
remember, because online we see the news, like there's so much going on in the world. Some of it's really scary, some of it can be negative.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's also reality, I like to also remember, okay, people are good. The people that I see that I'm crossing paths with on a day-to-day basis, that I know for sure. The news is brought to us, but like I like to look at what do I actually see in front of
Mm-hmm.
me? What do I
Yeah,
actually see around me? And I see really, really good people on a day-to-day basis. So I like
I
that to me,
agree.
it helps me connect.
I agree totally. When I moved here in States, then a lot of people ask me like, "Are you sure what is coming going on here?" But I create my own reality. So that's really truth. And when you really connect with people, you find that most little people are really friendly, really kind, really loving. And but you are, yeah, there's some illusion that have been created from outside. And that's really the truth that you're saying, that connecting back to yourself. And even if you hear those stories, like scary stories, then connect with your own body, focus in your own body. And even when you're taking some information, some courses, some things, to kind of expand yourself, then always connect with your body. Same time when you're listening something, connect here. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's coming up right now, maybe somebody needs to hear that. And this way you can understand what is your truth, because not all that we are saying here you have to take it. No, never. You have to create your own ways, and you can take some techniques here and there, but to transmute it to your own way. So that's so good that you're bringing this out. And yeah, it's so interesting. And I just wanted to, how you see yourself. Have you always been so aware, or you had your own ways of becoming this identity that you are right now? When you're looking back to, the phases that you were in technology, things like that, how did you recognize you started to become more aware and shifting and feeling how you're shifting into who you are right now? How was this process for you?
I think that, oh, that's such a good question.
That's a big one, big
The
one.
big
It's a
one.
big concept, like.
I mean, right off the bat, there's a part of me that's like, it's always been me. Like, there's always
Mhm.
been that awareness. There's always been that curiosity. There's always been that passion. I think one thing that's evolved has been, um, I was really scared before. I was really scared of like, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't make it? What if I can't do it? Like, I mean, I think I was like, worst case scenario, like, I don't know. I really had a lot of doubt.
Mhm.
I always had I was kind of quietly ambitious. Like, I always had the dreams inside of me. I always had a vision for something I wanted, but, um, I also was very aware of some of what I considered at the time like shortcomings.
Mhm.
I was scared that I wasn't always great at articulating things. I had so many ideas inside of me. I just wanted to share it with the world. And when it
Yeah.
would go to come out, it was not that clear. People were kind of like, huh? What is she talking about? That was a chapter of my life. That was a big part of, my kind of younger self, was figuring out how to share what was inside of me
Mhm.
with others and wanting to connect with others through like shared ideas and communication. And kind of, I have ADHD. I'm a dreamer. I'm an idealist. I was kind of head in the clouds, a little spacey. So there was that question of like, can I make it? Like, I didn't even know if I could work in corporate at one point when I was getting my business degree. I knew I was smart and I knew I understood the concepts, but I couldn't see myself thriving in a corporate world. I really wondered if I was even capable. And I felt like an imposter. I was just doing the best I could, just trying to learn and soak it all in as I went because I just had this feeling deep down, this is all going to help me for what I'm actually meant to do. So it was literally almost a decade of working somewhere that I didn't fully feel like I belonged, but all just with the sense of faith and hope, just hoping to God that it was
Trusting.
leading somewhere. Yeah. And there was a lot of eagerness there. I mean, I made some huge leaps. I left corporate at one point to work at a wellness center, like a wellness retreat center, leaving six-figure income to, I think I was making maybe $13 an hour in that position. Like it was, and just not thinking twice, just thinking, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Just so almost, I hate to use the word desperate, but there was kind of this desperation, or like maybe a fairer word is eagerness. I had a huge eagerness to find the way, to find my way, to find purpose. Really scared. I was very scared of like missing out on life and missing out like my life passing, and I never did the things I wanted to do. I never found my purpose. I was genuinely scared about that a lot of my younger years. And so my actions kind of reflected that. It was, a lot of just rushing, trying to find meaning. I wouldn't change it. Like all of that helped me have all of the experiences and all of the knowledge I have sitting right here, and I get to apply it leaving. Yes, I was making nothing at this wellness retreat, but I learned so much there, and I apply that at Creative Collective. When we look at bringing in different facilitators, showcasing different people's gifts in a space that is nurturing, in a space that is for connection, and integrative. Like it's when I left corporate to work at the kind of wellness center. It's like it's like a spa and has all these different experiences. And you can stay there. And it was actually founded by someone who was in rehab. And he learned so much when he was battling an addiction and deciding to live a better life. He learned so many skills and found such a divine connection with what really mattered in life. And he thought, why do we wait to learn all this? For him, not everyone, but his own experience, he saw how many people were learning all of this and figuring this all out after kind of hitting rock bottom or hitting a very difficult place with something like addiction. So he actually created that wellness center in that space as something that's a little bit more proactive for people to learn earlier in life, like to get all these amazing resources and find the opportunity to kind of create those connections with themselves and with the divine and different beautiful areas of life that they might be looking for. So that was super inspiring for me. Did it end up being my whole career? No, I returned to tech as a product manager, but I'm so glad that I had those 5 months there of learning, because every dot, every different pivot and step along the way really has led me to where I am now.
It really feels like a calling, like something higher called you to step, go there, leave everything behind and try something new. And I really can resonate here. I also started guiding people as a hobby, just doing what I love, but I didn't make first like money. I just did it for myself because I enjoyed it. And there was a phase when I practiced a long time what I did to kind of how I can sense people, what I can give to them, how this is all working, and is it good for me? I was interested and it was aligned, but at the same time, it's the same. I was scared, of course, because something new, it's out of your comfort zone. And there's always those things that first are not letting us to let go of this old comfortable, what we have to do, how we have to be. And then we're starting to break free. I'm sensing it was for you like breaking free, even if you went back to the tech for some time. But did you realize what were the that changing moments, or what you did that took you out from this, as you said, a little bit spacey, being a spacer, being like a little bit scared about your path? What led you, because right now I feel like you're so grounded, actually. You're so like, you're trusting, you're surrendered, kind of. Did you understood what was the, some maybe experiences that changed everything for you, or what you realized for yourself?
I think a lot of the messages that I've gotten when pursuing a more spiritual path, and so some of the spiritual teachers that I've found,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things they taught was kind of what the different stages look like. And oftentimes can start, not everyone, but we can start in kind of a victim mindset that is like, why is this happening? Why did I make this mistake? Why do I not have XYZ opportunity? And really shifting that to every time there's a challenge or every time we slip and fall or something doesn't go the way we wanted, we really look for the opportunity to learn from it and understand where we can do better next time, where we
Yeah.
can learn from it, where we can grow. So I think that was the next step for me of just really taking that approach every time. I went back to school to be a purpose coach, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of looked at where can I apply this, and then I went back to school for UX and UI, and I thought, where can I apply this, and just continuing to kind of learn. And even if I didn't have the exact answer of where
Mm-hmm.
that was going to go, just having, if I was interested in something, kind of letting myself keep growing and expanding and learning.
Yeah.
It built trust even when it didn't, even when the answer or official outcome wasn't right there.
Mm-hmm.
Even when there wasn't just one title that I could tell people, okay, I'm a product manager, but also I'm a purpose coach, and also I'm a lifestyle and wellness photographer, and also now I'm a co-owner of a community space. And, it just kind of, the more I saw the process unfold and saw where things went, the more I think I just had faith in the process. Um, so I think that gradual of like being okay with things not having, yeah, just being okay with things not being super clear in the current
Mm-hmm.
moment, being okay if things don't go the way I was hoping, being okay if things aren't all coming together as quickly as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
That's been something I've had to learn.
Yeah.
And but having faith and optimism that they will, that they are,
Yes.
that it's all happening for a reason. And I, even in the last few years, especially this last year, I've seen so many things that I've been waiting and working years
Mm-hmm.
for, they have unfolded. And so now I'm like, now I believed before, but it was more of like faith. Like I was
Yes.
really hoping that everything was true, that I was, hoping was, in terms of that all the dots will connect, everything
Mm-hmm.
happens for a reason, we're being guided, there is a bigger picture, there is a bigger purpose in our lives. Like I believed all of that, but I didn't always see it. It was kind of like trying things, trying all these different things. And in this last year, I have seen it all come together in a way that I alone could not have made it all happen. I know there's something, it all makes sense now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's beautifully coming together to the place where my faith is now. Um, I don't think I would have shared it as much before. I think it was a more personal faith because I
Yes.
wasn't sure. I was
Yeah.
just betting on it in my own life, but now seeing it come together so much in my own life, now I feel much more confident and passionate about wanting to support others and all their dots coming together,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that, okay, we are here for a reason. Everyone has these divine gifts. Everyone has a purpose. And so I want to be of service. Like I feel very fulfilled in my dots connecting and my purpose kind of unfolding. And I know what it feels like pursuing that and not being sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel very adamant now and very passionate about kind of helping others, because I fully believe now that yeah, it's all working out in our
Yeah.
favor.
Yeah. I'm really getting here like this faith playing really actually a huge role, even if it's little sometimes, yes, as you said, it's personal. But maybe can you elaborate this a little bit more, what this faith means to you, or how do you feel the connection, or how this connection have been like growing while you have been in between stages and unknown? Did you started to receive some kind of guidance for yourself? How this plays a role in your life?
There's so many different areas that I feel like I can answer that on. The thing that's coming to me right away that I'll touch on in case it resonates with anyone is, so going back to the writing, I feel like I've gotten answers, whether it's my own mind kind of searching for those answers and be like, okay, this makes sense, or whether it's almost divine guidance and support. But either way, it's created so much peace and understanding on my side. And one of the things that came that really created a lot of peace and built my faith was going all the way back to childhood. And I saw like passion that was kind of there in my heart from the very beginning. And I also saw kind of some of the limitations that prevented me from just going all in, because I really wanted to just go all in on these passions. And so I would had some frustration of like, okay, when I was little, I saw myself standing on stage and sharing a message that made people feel so good, and it reminded them how amazing they were, and they felt so upbeat and liberated by this message. And like and then I would go to communicate, and it was not inspiring at all. It was. And so I wondered, like, well, why? Like, I was always frustrated by that block, by that communication block. And in writing and kind of in reflection, I saw that was by design. So I always had these big dreams and big ambition inside of me from being very little. And simultaneously, I had my own limitations by design, because I wasn't meant at the time to go out and be this big speaker, communicate, saying all this messages, being super like conveying dramatic things, or being super what is the word where you're kind of, there's some people that their words can influence people a lot, and that's a gift, and it's amazing. And that's not a gift that I was given early on, and I believe that it was for a reason. And so it might have been a little frustrating for me, but then to now be able to look back and be like, oh, but I was given, so while I wasn't given the gift of like kind of conviction and conveying, I was given this huge heart and really caring and really noticing things and observing and wanting people to feel really good and wanting them to feel welcome and like they belong, and wanting others to see them for who they really were, and appreciate them and appreciate their gifts. And so it was, my early chapters were more of just like observing and understanding versus getting out there and speaking really loudly. And I think that was by design.
Yeah.
And I did have this idea that I had to figure it all out on my own for a while. And then things happened. Like, so for example, the studio that myself and Toria became the owners in August. And when the previous owner was choosing who would step in, we came up with our own business plan. She had other great business plans that were brought to her. There were a lot of names kind of thrown in there, wanting to be the next owners. And when she chose us, she said it was because of our hearts, and she could sense our hearts. And we've heard that as more people get involved and want to be a part of the community and part of the space, they reflect that to us. Like, we can feel your hearts. And I never in a million years would have thought that my heart would have any tangible, like that
Yeah.
it would be the reason why my dreams would even come true on a tangible level. A tangible community space is now something that I get to be a co-owner of. And
Yes.
whereas before I thought I'd figure it all out on my own, I'd have to build the whole thing on my own, figure everything out. And it was literally, we almost like inherited it, stepping in as new owners, that someone else's vision brought it to that first part to life. And we got to step in for the next chapter. Like, that's divine. Like, that's
Yes.
amazing.
It,
Um,
yeah, it truly feels like your heart was protected in your early ages, and now it has the, the God or universe has its own way how to lead us to the best people and best environments.
Mm-hmm.
But
So I
yeah,
genuinely believe that not only do we have divine gifts that we're given, that we're meant to go out and essentially, they say you can't pour from an empty cup, but I also
yeah,
believe it's hard for source and God to pour into a full cup. So we're already given all of these gifts. Like, are we going and pouring it out? Are we going and sharing these gifts and using these gifts we have? Because I believe that it's pouring that out, using them is what then creates a space for new gifts and new
hmm,
opportunities to come in. But I am a huge believer in going out and using it to our all of the get be really grateful and aware of the gifts we have
hmm,
and really use them because they're there for a reason. And all of the limitations that we have that we might see as a setback or we might see be frustrated that we don't have it, like that's a divine, sometimes that's a divine gift too, and it's also helping us to find the right people we're supposed to find or pivot to focus on the thing we're supposed to focus on, contribute in the way we contribute, because it's, I do think it's not just of having faith and surrendering to a larger plan. I think that is it. But I think sometimes when we think of surrendering, it means giving up our own vision and giving up our own dreams for something bigger. And I think one thing that I at least have experienced in my own life is like, yes, I'm surrendering to something bigger, but like I've been so blown away by the fact that what that bigger thing
hmm,
is in my favor. Like it aligns with these visions I've had my entire life. It aligns with what sets my soul on fire. It aligns with what makes my heart so, so, so happy.
yeah,
I feel so, so fulfilling. So it's not surrendering for something that's like, yeah, there's challenges and things we don't want to face along the way. That is part of it. That's part of
hmm,
our growth and part of our
yes.
life, track on earth. But I do believe it leads to amazing things that we will be so happy that we get to experience in our lives.
It's like divine redirection. If
Hmm.
it's a no, then something better is coming to you, and also doing things when you have the fear, because if you have the fear, you have your heart on it. And it brought so nicely out that my heart was a gift that I always had. And sometimes people think that, your purpose has to be like something so huge, so elaborate, something that, society accepts. But actually, it can be so easy, even too easy. And you think, okay, I have to do something extra. I have to create, I have to go there, to be the big here on the stage, But sometimes it's like the things that come to you the most easiest joyful way. Of course you put the work on it and you do the things and get yourself to the next level of you, but to understand here that your purpose is so easy for you, has to be easy, because it's not yours if it's not. And people not to think that something, if I like to maybe cook, I like to, I don't know, communicate with people, I like to like read people, or you like to hold space, then it's already enough to be really successful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's interesting how life kind of plays the part and leads us forward, and when we are kind of open to take the journey, then it can lead us to the places that we've never been. For me, new place is Austin. And I want you to maybe explain how Austin has been playing a part in your life, how this environment allowed you to expand yourself when maybe other places haven't.
Mm.
How do you feel that?
And it's crazy as you say that. I think of the fact that I'm coming on 15 years in Austin.
Yeah.
So that's nuts. And it's played such a big part because I think the thing that one of the things that drew me to Austin in the beginning and continues to make it feel like home, like this really exciting place to continue to call home, was the community level, because there were always fun things going on in Austin. There are always things that made it so easy to get out and meet people in real life.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the opportunities. So yes, there was kind of like this like party scene that you could get into for connection, but there's this whole other opportunity to make connections without, and more so now, I think there's a much more people that are interested in connecting and having fun and socializing without alcohol or without drinking, or like it's much more wholesome. It's very wholesome, which I
Yeah.
appreciate. Like the wholesome, healthy, like we want to connect and meet amazing people, and then wake up early tomorrow and go for a run around Lady Bird Lake and feel
Yeah.
great. People want to feel good. So I think there's that side of it. There's that wellness aspect of people that are more like health conscious and just wanting to really step into their best selves in terms of how they feel and how they're treating their bodies. And then the other part around opportunity and kind of ambition is people that you're making connections with, people that they're doing something. Like a lot of people in Austin are doing really cool things. Like people are here are curious and they want to know about you and what you're working on. I went to an event the other night and I met someone, and the first thing he asked me is like, oh, he said, tell me about yourself. And I like shared about Creative Collective and everything. And his next question was like, how can I help? Like, how can I support you? And luckily, I had actually just asked someone else that, and because they actually kind of were struggled to find the answer, I realized, wow, we all want to help. We all are so excited about what each other is working on, and we genuinely want to support them and know how we can support. So I kept that in mind, and so when he asked, was like, here are the top 3 things on my radar. I can share with you. And it was crazy though, because he immediately had ideas, and then I was able to ask him the same question. And even just we've stayed in touch when we think of like, okay, that person is looking for people to come in for South by Southwest. Oh, I just met someone that he should know. Or, they're looking for people on their podcast. This person would be great. We should connect. Like, I just, I said it in a long-winded way, but the fact that Austin is such a great place to meet and connect, and like, but that it feels intentional. It feels like you're meeting people that are also working on really cool things and are interested and interesting.
Yeah.
And that to me is really aligns with my values. It feels fulfilling, going out and meeting people when it's in that sort of environment.
Yes. Yes. And do you agree that there is so many things to do here, and you have to really kind of select sometimes out to not get overwhelmed and
Yeah.
choose your own space and
Yeah,
people? Yeah.
it's true. And it's crazy because I can remember when I first moved here 15 years ago, I had this thought and I kept hearing other people say it where they're like, oh, I just moved here. There's so much to do. I feel like I haven't done any of it, or there's so much to do. I don't know what to do. Like it was almost like this like overwhelm. And it's funny because I still feel that same. There's so much to do. How do you choose? And so now it's kind of like, well, it's a blessing to have so
Yeah.
many options of like fun activities. It's a blessing. So, and there will always be lots of activities here. So it's like you just pick the one that'll
Yeah.
resonates the most, um, and
Does
it's okay.
does Austin feel to you like fast paced? Do you know that I have heard this saying like the early bird gets the worm? Is it like how do you feel? Is it like the American thing more, how people are seeing the life, or is it like here in Austin, or no?
I think that Austin is still, it's very fast paced in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think one reason probably why people like Austin is because there is so much energy and so
Mm-hmm.
much, there is that sense of always things going on, and there's kind of a fast pacedness to it. Tech and,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
world always is the go, 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 like always moving towards the next thing, always excited about the next thing energy. And so I think tech brings a lot of that energy to Austin.
Mm.
I think a lot
True.
of our energy as a city is driven by the tech culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but another thing that people love about Austin is that somehow, despite everything going on in our economy and all the job opportunities and everything people are building, it's slower than like New York or
True.
DC. We still maintain some of this like just wearing whatever you want to wear, show up, can show up. Like there's a casualness to it that I love. And there is a slowness of just enjoying, going by the water or going to a nearby park. Like, I love going to the park recently in Mueller and just there's so many people just enjoying life,
Yes.
just truly being present. So I think that's a nice balance that we have in Austin.
Yes.
But I definitely could see a trend of people starting to maybe move a little bit more on the outskirts or to like
Mm-hmm.
smaller towns for or even kind of like more like ranch style where there's
Mm-hmm.
more space, more nature, just to live a little bit slower.
Yeah, or have this, they can, select some time they go to the city, they are having this fast-paced days, and then other days they can just relax and do create their own balance. That's true. I feel it as well. And I'm really sensing also that this city kind of supports this in-between states of people if they want to kind of create something. Do you also feel like this is something that is really like specific to Austin, that it kind of calls people in to create something new or great communities or great some, as you said, ideas that were just maybe a dream once.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think because the combination of community, which that seems to be nationwide, if not global. I
Hmm.
can't speak as much to global, but just from the research that I hear of some of what's happening, so many more communities are popping up because, especially like after COVID and with
Hmm.
social media and different apps and people wanting to unplug. I think
Yeah.
people really are looking for ways to connect to real people and connect in person. So I think Austin seems to be, I get the impression that it's kind of ahead of it's
Yeah.
leading in that. Like there are so many communities being built in Austin, so many opportunities to connect, especially over like shared interests. And then you have that, plus you have tech where that's showing us these structures to you have an idea. There's a lot of
Hmm.
cultures and
Yeah.
communities where if you have an idea, it's really not supported. And that's somewhat normal. Like there's something called the law of diffusion of innovation that kind of shows like anytime a new idea or new product or anything comes out into the world, there's a distribution of across any community of you have like your innovators, that top like 1 to 2% that are the ones actually seeing the world, seeing what could be possible that doesn't exist yet today. You have your early adopters that they don't actually need the tangible proof yet.
Hmm.
You tell them a concept and they can envision it and they're like, yeah, I'd like to
Hmm.
support that. And then you have the people that as soon as that product or idea comes out, they're going to be some of the first ones to adopt it and use it. Then you have like your late adopters that they need social proof. They need to see it happen. Like they need to
Yeah.
see the majority of other people have already,
Magicians.
yeah, they need, and then there's like the laggards that are the people that are still using like landlines and don't like any new idea and they're very like set in their ways and that's okay too and to some
Hmm.
extent like that roots any society of kind of like keeping things consistent and grounded as you have all these other people kind
Yeah.
of for progress and change.
Yeah.
It creates a balance. And but I think some communities you see like they're way more on that side. Their current
Hmm.
pushes to like it's really hard because if you're not as exposed to new ideas coming to life, it's a lot harder to believe that it's even possible. And in
Yeah.
Austin, because of tech and innovation and all of these and startups, like we're seeing new ideas come to life all the time.
Every
We see
day.
it every day.
Hmm.
So it makes it feel a lot more possible, even in our own lives, of like, okay, these tech guys had this vision for an app and they brought it to life. Why can't I have a vision for my own life and design it and come up with and make it happen?
Yeah, that
Because
really brings beautifully together Austin energy, the location energy that is really innovative and welcoming everybody, because we need everybody. And then you can, of course, choose, like you choose your friend circle, for example, you choose with who you can go forward and can really, if you want to grow or do something, there here are the opportunities and possibilities. That's really nice. I think Austin's really like special place to do that.
Yeah, I think so too. I love Austin. I love the people here. And for me, I mean, even knowing that there's kind of this distribution of where people tend to fall in any community, it
Yeah.
has also helped me to embrace a wider range of friends in Austin. So, and knowing it, and keep doing your thing, keep having your vision and working on the thing you're working on and really believe in it. And knowing that you like your friends might land in different places in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like when they're on board or when to talk to them
Yeah.
about the ideas that you're working on, that they can still be beautiful, supportive people. But in Austin, it's really easy to find those people that are gonna believe in what you're doing right away and
Yeah.
gonna be there and support you before
Yeah.
you have anything down on paper.
Yes.
There's also the friends that are love you for who you are and
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it, but they might not understand the idea, but they're still great people to have in your
Yeah.
community. Once the thing is established, they'll definitely be there to
Yeah.
promote it maybe or use it or whatever it may be. I've just seen different people fall in different places with
Mm-hmm.
that, and
True.
it's helped to create this beautiful community
Yeah.
of letting people kind of join where they are, kind of
Yes.
when it feels good to them.
And some people are for just for a season, but I believe that we never lose those people that are meant for you. There's no ways to lose something that is for you, that has to. And some people are just going along with your journey, and you will meet new people. But here, yes, I'm also seeing that everything goes quite fast. Okay, your mind can think it should be going faster, but actually it goes really fast. Those things that you meet, you will connect with people. That's why it's also like special, like-minded people together here. Really, that's interesting and really nice here. What would you tell someone who feels in between in their identities now, and maybe from this example of you stepping onto your, I see you as a leader, when somebody wants also either step into some leadership position or start to lead something in their life or create something, what would you tell them from your own experience?
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is not as inspiring, but I promise I will get to a more inspiring
Sure.
part. But the first thing that comes to mind is, and this was an aha moment for me, where not every day is super exciting. So my bigger picture, where I was going, what I wanted to do, that felt really exciting to me. And so I thought if I was on the right path, then that meant every day was going to be really, really exciting, really, really good. And so if I had a day that felt mundane or I was just checking boxes and getting tasks done, if I didn't feel super energized and excited, I thought I was not on the right path. And I think something that was really empowering for me that kind of clicked as I was working, moving towards next identities, moving towards next goals, was knowing there were going to be it's okay. There's like these in between moments that if you don't feel super clear or you don't maybe feel like your best self, I think that sometimes those moments, they're just part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes it's just those little, almost like kind of like downtime and almost like just being able to make those days, make those chapters, make that time, make the best of it. Like for me, sometimes when I have those days where it doesn't feel as aligned, I think, what can I still do today to
Mm-hmm.
move in the right direction? Like
Yeah.
sometimes I actually use those days to do the most boring tasks that are on my list just because to knock it out and just embrace that day for what it is. But it's all moving you in the right direction. So that's the first thing that like comes to mind, but I know that's not as exciting to hear. I think for someone to really answer your question though, for someone who is kind of stepping into their next identity, right? Um, take the time to kind of envision that person. I think take the time to see what they look like and see how they feel. And I think for me personally, different things come up when I do that.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes we think it's going to be almost like this one-dimensional, very clear, one title person. But in my experience, it's very dynamic. There's a lot of different components that go towards stepping into the woman or the person that you're meant to be. It's continuous, it evolves, and it is dynamic.
Yeah.
So for me, even one meditation I did where I kind of saw my higher self, she didn't even say anything. I just went up and hugged her, and she just made me feel so much better just by being present and just hugging me. She just had such a steady, calm, good
Yeah.
presence. And I just knew, okay, I want to have that presence for other people. If they're feeling like anxious or feeling like they're not sure, like I want to, that was so nice having that presence of someone to see. And the other thing I noticed is she had really comfortable clothes on. It was like very flowy and comfortable. And at the time, I was always wearing like gym outfits, like kind of like tight
Mm-hmm.
clothes, which
Mm-hmm.
worked for that era. But I was like, oh, I just noted that. I was like, okay, like that next identity, I think is like really, really comfortable.
Mm-hmm. In
Feels
their
really,
own skin. Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's not trying to like fit into some
Mm-hmm.
gym girl identity or lunch girl identity or
Yeah.
anything like that. She just like is, and she's super comfortable. So even something as like simple as that,
Yes.
helps me. But I think, yeah, I would encourage someone to keep kind of being in that presence
Yeah.
and seeing the opportunities to know what do the different components of what you're stepping into look like.
Yes. And I think it's all about less about those things that you want to have, more about those things that, or the feeling that you are connecting that feel, as you said, you didn't saw like, yes, you saw clothes or appearance a little bit that is helping you to step into identity. Sometimes we see that, but sometimes it's just the being
Yes.
and the confidence of being who you are. And when we are stepping into one identity to another, it's not just we are, totally changing ourselves. No, it's about stepping out maybe some limitations. And it's fine if you have some period of transition, and especially this beginning of January that we are in, still this 2025 is a little bit, closing itself out for us. So it's fine if you're still a little bit lingering, because this year is still making some moves on us to trust it. Another thing you said that really resonated is like, yes, not every day is going to be like super exciting, and I think it's normal that we have those different phases. And but if you're not moving too fast, actually things are still moving quickly, and even faster if you slow down. I think in society, in this phase that we are in our life, we see so much more. If we relax and surrender and don't want to change the circumstances, then things will start to change by itself. And we get that sometimes the aligned action, but it's so clear, and it's not coming from your head, it's coming from your heart. And you get maybe just a simple thing, oh, idea, this, okay, and then it's already leading you to next things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about that it's not always about like what we have or maybe even what we're doing, but how we are, like how we show up, more about being.
Yeah, the
I
state,
think that's huge, the state.
that you have. And it's really good if you can notice more your state that you are in inside. If you're just, oh, so anxiety, or okay, we feel sometimes even if it's exciting, but if you can realize what kind of state are you kind of giving out, that is everything.
Yeah.
From there, you see the reflection, which is starting to reflect this that you have inside of you. And of course your human self can play those games, can be happy, can be, whatever, feeling good, bad, all the feelings. Not to neglect the feelings, but to understand that inside of me I have to keep myself like in kind of peaceful state, or find the ways how to create this peaceful state inside of me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really everything comes from that. It comes from our inner state. And I know for me, for my journey, like it's really helpful for me to have a vision of how do I want to show up? Like what
Yeah.
is my highest self look like in terms of that state? Because I fall out of that all the time. Because especially
Yeah.
when you are putting yourself out there and you are trying new things and now you're meeting new people and collaborating with new people and there's new dynamics and new
Yes, yes.
energies, it's really easy to see, oh, okay, in this situation, I show up amazing. I'm full of grace and
Yeah.
very supportive and very kind and very optimistic. And then, in another environment, maybe your energy could slip or for me, like maybe I'm more triggered or more like responsive.
Yeah.
And so, and I want to always show up with grace no matter what, I want to show up kindly no matter what. So I kind of look at, okay, how do for me, it's almost not, I know I may not always be that kind of highest self, but it's learning how to recognize when I kind of am not showing up that way and practicing returning back to it has
Yeah.
been really, I think, can be a beautiful practice and really powerful practice of just having that giving ourselves grace when we fall out of it or don't show up that way, but also having that awareness when it happens so that we can find the tools to kind of come back.
True, true. And also like different realities play here a role. Like sometimes my English is better with some people and it's worse with other people. And it's real, and I realized this, those people that you can just they can understand you. Those are your people, those are from your reality. And this way you can start to see, okay, and some people they have their own vibration. Some people are just bringing out the triggers. Some people are expanders. Some people are people who clean some old stuff out of from your life. So seeing how kind of people are affecting you and how you are vibrating. So this is also interesting. And yes, keeping your alignment, not thinking, oh, I'm not enough here, because you always are. And to kind of relax and realize, okay, this was interesting, okay, maybe maybe this is not like exactly my environment. So definitely sometimes we can do those spiritual practices, but sometimes it's all about choosing choosing what's the best and choosing the way how you feel good. So yeah, it's and especially if you're in between, if you're going into new phases, then selecting, because usually when you start to go to new identity, universe or you God or whatever you believe in is going to show you a lot of different options. A lot of basically, if you're dating, if you're letting yourself to open up, comes a lot of different people in your life, and then you can start to select basically, and it's the divine, like, reality showing you options, and what are you choosing then for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see different ways,
Yeah.
and choose always for yourself. Trust yourself.
Yeah. Trust yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And I love that guidance of kind of following what feels good because I really think there's something to be said for that. I really do. I know not everything is going to feel good, and sometimes there's just
No.
tasks we have to do or work we have to do to get to where we're ultimately going. But
Sure.
man, when you start to see the difference of the people and the activities and everything that really feels good, it really does show you the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
really.
other thing that is coming here, just something that don't feel guilty of choosing yourself, really, or saying what sometimes you need to say. I know that if you're really sensitive people, that it's so hard to do that. It's so hard to say, because you don't want to hurt other people, but if you're not saying sometimes, then you're hurting yourself and you're hurting others. Then it's important to let yourself, especially with this, really close relationships, to lay things out. Because then if you're not, then some things are suppressed, then you start to feel guilty, and those things are going to trigger you and play you and really block your creative abilities actually. So it's good it's fine if you go forward, it's fine if you change your life, it's okay if you're choosing new things, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just I think it was needed to say here that, and it's okay because we're just such in a peak of changing our lives. So many people are making so bold moves, and suddenly you're making this, and then you're like, oh my god, where am I right now? Wow, what I did. And do not feel guilty about this because it was good for you. You made and every decision is right decision. You can't make wrong decision. It's just to know and to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all is going to bring us, every decision brings us somewhere, some amazing route that it all will lead to something really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And just before we close, I love for you to share what's currently alive for you. You mentioned a little bit what is unfolding inside Creative Collective. So maybe just you can just share a little bit what are you excited about right now and what kind of woman people are you calling in this season.
I love that. At Creative Collective, I'm so excited because what we're seeing is we started as a community center and creative workspace for women, and we are absolutely that. We're also seeing it evolve into being really Austin's first incubator for women. Kind of like we were talking about how Austin is this really tech hub for bringing ideas to life, and um, Creative Collective is really turning into this space where it's that sort of energy of bringing ideas to life, but in a very kind of inclusive and a little bit, I would say, almost softer space that's really conducive to women who have a dream or kind of, I like to say, like a God-sized dream. So something that maybe feels a little daunting, feels a little scary, but also feels like you're being so called to, and pulled to do it. I think I'm so excited that I feel like we're actually creating a space for those sorts of ideas to happen. So not just like the latest tech app, being, VC backed tech app, but it's really more of it's still this incubative space for dreams that are really close to the heart to actually come to life. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about the memberships that we have to support that. We just launched our community membership, which includes co-working and our monthly networking event with other women and a workshop to help women continue to grow. And then we also have the creator container on top of our community membership that is specific for the women that are kind of really at the heart of Creative Collective, that are ready to create events and ready to bring things to life, like tangibly in the space. And so they're kind of getting the ones that we're really showcasing right now and spotlighting and supporting and bringing whatever that dream is kind of to an audience in person. So I'm excited because our calendar is already filled with fun things like co-working and like the networking event and workshops and everything, but it's going to continue to grow, and the calendar soon is going to be filled with all of these events from women bringing their gifts to the world and sharing their voice and sharing their really neat experiences that they have designed and are now
Yes.
launching.
Yes, I totally recommend this because I just also stepped into the greater membership, and I was really, looking something that is aligned with me, my softness, and also the power, and to find those people that can really like understand what I'm doing. And you came into my life, it was like so aligned, and I'm excited to. And it was so welcoming, and the space is so like good, feel so grounded, and I really just before we had a meeting, I really it stayed into my mind, this incubator. You said it's like incubator, and it feels like you're having a baby or something new, maybe like idea or something,
Uh-huh.
and you are taking care of it and kind of loving it. And this is changing totally the game of creating something or having a collaborations or not being so transactional, putting the love into it. and then it can grow. So it was really, I think it was the one of the things that really like kind of landed for me, like, oh, yes, this is right. So I totally recommend everybody who feels like who are looking for maybe to meet new people and to create something beautiful. And maybe sometimes you don't even know what to start to create, because we had so many different ideas, like just brainstorming everything. But this is fine. It's okay to have it, I think so. And but to have those people that you can really talk to, and meet other people who are also creating something amazing. So I'm just so excited what it's going to unfold for us. And so grateful that you have creating this thing and you trusted your vision.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Christina. I love the way you describe that. I mean, it really is true. Like I see it like that too, like this little baby dream that
Yeah.
is being able to grow and kind of practice in this space. And even like a greenhouse,
Mm,
where while you're growing
yeah.
your idea, it's also of like, what are all the elements that are conducive to us growing as
Mm-hmm.
people and just really
Mm-hmm.
thriving,
Yeah.
and, kind of bringing those elements in for, like you said, like just where it doesn't feel as transactional, like big things are happening, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels like you're doing it with friends, kind of like with this
Yeah.
real supportive community.
Yeah.
So
It's like you have space, or kind of like feeling of home out of home,
yeah,
basically. Something like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
the third place, third
Yeah.
space, like they say.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So where can people find your step into your space? What is coming up next in this Creative Collective?
I would invite people to places that you can find us: our website, creativecollectiveatx.com, and then our handle is also Creative Collective ATX, on Instagram. And on Instagram, we also have a link to our website. We also have a link to our calendar on Luma. We use Luma. It's been really great for having a calendar of events,
Mhm.
and our membership is also on there. So it's a really great place to start. You can also always reach out to us on there, with any questions or anything. We always love to connect. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And I am also starting to do some exciting things there, that soon, when the podcast is out, you can find it, workshops to activate your own intuitive abilities. So this will be really exciting. And I'm so grateful to see how it unfolds here. So yeah, so exciting things to come. I will link all the things down here, so you can follow and you can see and you can step in. And yeah, do you have anything else to say for our listeners who are maybe feeling like, okay, you get now pumped, like doing something from your heart? What would you want them to trust today or take away from this conversation?
I would want to say that it's absolutely going to work out. Like, if you have this dream, please, 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 please know it's for a reason. Please know you are on the right track. You're doing amazing. Please give yourself credit. All of those little wins or big wins, please, it's really good for your heart, for your brain,
For
and
your
for your
health.
soul to give yourself those wins. Our brain actually needs to be reminded, of that we're really doing a great job, in order to keep that it actually will help the motivation to keep going. So please celebrate yourself. Please give yourself grace and know that you're on the right track, because you are. You absolutely are. There's no way that you're not. It's definitely is true. And I also just want to say thank you, Christina. It's such an honor to be able to have this time to kind of have this conversation with you. I can't wait for our next conversation to get to hear more from your side and your past, because you have such an interesting perspective, and I'm so grateful for that we met. I'm
Yes.
so grateful that you're a part of that. You're bringing Soulmaster Studio to Creative Collective, and that people are going to experience your magic, because I'm blown away every time I experience it, like literally blown away. So
Yeah.
I cannot wait for what you're creating.
Thank you. And same. There's no words. It's just a feeling, and it's amazing. And I'm so excited to bring everything that I can do here and do it together and see. But I feel like just the beginning. It's just the
Yes.
beginning of everything, and yeah, the space and everything. We have created this foundation. Definitely, foundation is necessary. But now we can start to fly and do those things and be the best we can be.
Yeah.
So yes, as we close this space, thank you so much for being here, letting all this land to you. I invite you to notice now. Take just a couple of maybe 5 minutes to notice what shifted for you. And you don't need to rush already to the next step, but let it all land and trust that everything is already moving things for you. You have already created your dreams, put your wishes out there. And thank you for just listening and walking your path in your own way. This is Soulmaster Codes, and I will see you in another one.